First, just want to start off by talking about the Joy to Carolinas event last night. We had over 60 players. Really proud. I'm really proud to say that. Our guys showed up with great energy, and we're just loving on a bunch of people that showed up. There was almost 1,000 kids there, staff included, family members, and just to have all hands on deck. The Teppers do an amazing job, particularly Nicole, organizing this event, and just an amazing way to connect it and to show the guys the bigger picture of what's happening. And, yes, we're playing football and we're blessed to be able to do this job, but any chance we have to extend what the Panthers, who the Panthers are, to just spread some love during the holiday season is an amazing opportunity. So I just wanted to start off by saying that. The players, again, you show up to these events and you don't know what to expect from the players, but they were so into it. And they were all just smiles, and whether it was, passing out food or, toys, shoes, different things like that, they were just, it was a real blessing to be a part of that.
I don't know if we've talked to you since it happened, but Austin Corbett named Walter Payton Man of the Year. Why was he your guys' choice for that award?
Well, just his involvement in the community and commitment. And the cool part was, I don't know if you all saw the video, but Metallica was able to, present the award to him. It was a big deal for us to show that in the team room. And just a leader, a guy to point to show some of the younger players, the type of impact you can have playing this role, understanding you have a job to do, but knowing that you have a bigger platform to be able to affect people.
Cade being back, is he the right guard?
Yes, so we'll go in there. Cade will play center. Austin will play guard, which he basically spent about 6 or 7 years of his career playing, and so feel really confident about those guys going out there.
Are Claude and JC still in the protocol?
They are still in the protocol. They're doing great. They're making strides. They're clearing all the things we need them to, and so we have one more day to get out there now in pads to be able to do some more movement and making sure we do the right thing for them. Getting all the information we can from them in their movement, but they were able to participate in a limited fashion today, and we'll ramp it up a little bit more to see if we can get them out there.
I wanted to ask you, when Bryce is going good from a passing perspective, is there something you're seeing mechanically that maybe he's not doing as consistently in some of the games where we've seen struggles?
Really, it's been a group thing, and it starts up front, when the protection is right and the guys are where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there, and he's on time, the thing works. And I've seen that chemistry continue to grow throughout this season, and we haven't had the consistency that I would like to see from the entire group. And, certainly Bryce is a part of that, and that's the challenge that we have in front of us, and that's what we've been attacking, for weeks now to find that. And, we had some really critical downs last week against the Rams, and we were able to come through because they were all on the same page, and that's what I see for this group, and I hope we take another step this week.
Related to that, you were talking about on Monday finding your identity and trying to be balanced offensively. Are there ever benchmarks yardage-wise that you're trying to hit, or is it all just about the game flow?
Absolutely. It's the game flow. It's the defense that we're playing. It's what they're giving us and how they're trying to attack us, starting up front with the structures facing the run game, and whatever their plan might be that day. It's for the coaches, our job to kind of figure that part out and find the run game that fits what they're doing. We have an idea for what they should be, and for the most part, defenses stay within their identity. Certainly, we've worked so hard in the different schemes that we have, but they may pick one over the other, and that's where we have to make those adjustments. And then, of course, in the pass game, where are the matchups and where are the voids? And that's all communication that happens live, and then we try to make those adjustments. But, for me, it's a win is a win, yards are yards, and that's what we want to come away from. But I do know I want to be able to run the ball in some way, shape, or form because I understand who we are as a team. Panthers football should look a certain way, and I want to make sure we come out of it playing the run well on the defense, and then on offense, making sure that we have Rico and Chuba have an opportunity to affect the game.
With the bye as late as it was there any sort of load management conversations getting to the bye week in terms of practice or things like that? And is it, with a lot of folks healthy now and the bye week, are you able to do anything differently?
Absolutely, and this is where I can give Josh Hinkst and Denny Kellington a lot of credit for the conversations we've had coming into the season, knowing when the bye week was going to be. We didn't have any Thursday games where you kind of get a pseudo bye after some of those, and you have to take care of the guys going into the game. But we had to be smart about that. We had to see what team we were working with. We've had some bumps and bruises along the way, some longer-term injuries that affect that part of it. But we had to modify. We had to make adjustments, every day going into practice. What's the group that we have available? If we scale this back, who can we get out there to get those reps? He may not be able to handle 2 full periods of full speed reps, but if we bring it down on this period, can we get them out there for reps and things like that? We just had to make sure that we were connected with the guys, and that's what Josh and Denny allowed us to do, making sure we had enough in the tank to finish the way that we finished. And I've been really pleased with how we've played at the end of games in fourth quarters consistently for the season. And that was because of the hard work of doing all the regen that we do, going into practice, doing all the recovery that we do, and then, making sure we dose the guys the right way so they're still ready to play on game day, but they're also fresh.
Dave, last night, Brady Christensen, Pat Jones, Jonathan Brooks, David Moore were all involved in kind of the celebration and everything. But they're also pretty readily available in the locker room. They're around. Rob Hunt's around. Why is it so important to keep those guys focused on what the team is doing even when they're injured or sidelined or maybe done for the season?
Yeah, the team evolves and we become something, and we start to see different concepts in all of our phases, offense, defense, and special teams. We start to become an identity of something, and it's so important for those guys to be around that as we continue to grow and build our team and find an identity of who we're going to be. And so I've seen it happen both ways. I've seen where guys, have chosen in IR situations where they're not in the building as much and they're really focused on the rehab, and I understand and respect that. But I really respect the guys that have been here doing the rehab in-house. We have a great staff. They trust the staff. That's first and foremost. If you have great care, then there's really no better place to be than here, so you can be a part of those meetings, be a part of those conversations, and continue to grow with us so that if we get these guys back, they're hitting the ground running from a mental standpoint.
What do you make
Somebody
of
who's
the
coached receivers for a long time.
Yeah.
Going into a season with such a young group across the board, how do you sort of manage the ebbs and flows of those guys over 17, 18 weeks?
Yeah, there is a toll on rookies from a physical standpoint, certainly with the longer season, the speed of the game and the amount of effort that is required of them. And then, of course, there's a mental and emotional strain of the game plans that go into it, the nuances of what you're seeing from a receiver standpoint, at least. The disguises, they take a step up when you get to the NFL, and obviously the size and speed of the players that they're playing against, it requires you to continue to evolve your game from a technical standpoint, and there's a lot of patience that's involved with that, and I think it's really important also to celebrate the successes and to make sure even when the ball may not go your way and you end up with 2 targets, let's look at what you looked like away from the ball here, though, right? And that was always our mantra in Seattle when I was coaching receivers is, bottom line, guys, put wins on film. Because the more you do that, the more the quarterback sees what you're doing and trusts that, the more your teammates respect the work you're putting out there, and then the wins will come and the ball will come. So there's a big patience game involved in that. And there's also urgency, right? So it's like, can you have great urgency? We need you to be great right now, and also have that patience to know it's going to come. Keep at it. Hard work works, and just kind of reinforcing some of those principles.
Make of the Saints, I mean, they've only won 3 games, but yet they've won 2 big games within the division. Do you chalk that up to, how hard it is to win in the division when you're so familiar with teams, or what do you kind of make of their season?
Absolutely. If you look at the totality of their body of work, this is a defense that's been playing really good football for a long time. They've found an identity offensively, and you look back to our game, they had some big wins in some third down situations. But if you look at their run game to finish the game, they had variety. They sustained long drives, and they've really found a way to play really good football. And so I respect that, and I understand that. And when you look at some of the margins of some of their losses, there was a couple of big ones, but for the most part, they're battling, and then a team will make a play or two, and I think about us, we have 3 walk-off field goals, and how close the NFL is in general, and how hard it is to win. So I know what we're facing on Sunday. I know what we're going up against, and I respect this team, and I know our players, they understand as well, the challenge we have in front of us in the division with an opponent who knows us and is playing really tough football right now.
You played.
We're going to take 2 more.
Dave, following up on the Saints question and the way that they played you guys here, and you guys are big on learning,
Yep.
Tell the truth Monday. So what are the lessons learned from that first meeting to apply to this one?
Yeah, first and foremost, you start off with our run game, and it was about blocking to the second level. Demario Davis, Pete Werner, these are guys that I really respect. Making sure we get a hat on their best tacklers, in the different phases. I didn't think we did a great job of that. And from a physical standpoint, we couldn't run the ball on them. They ran the ball on us eventually, and they beat us at our own game. We want to play a physical style of football, and they did a great job, and that's the challenge in front of us.
With so much riding on these next 4 weeks, do you approach these games as kind of like an early playoff?
All of them, every single one from the beginning of the season. I understand how important every single game is as you get to this point in the season. And so you really can't look past any game. Every game is a championship opportunity, just like the one we have in front of us. And we have to maintain that heightened focus and awareness of how important they are. There's nothing worse than over the years, you get through a season and you look back, maybe you squeak in a wild card berth, or maybe you win the division, but you didn't get the seeding that you could have because of a game that got away from you earlier in the season. It's why it's easy for me to sell that to the group, to say, hey, every game is a championship opportunity, and we have one right in front of us on the road against a familiar opponent.
You played 14 one-score games. You're 10-4 in those. That's almost half your coaching tenure. Why do you think you've been so successful during the crunch time and kind of converting those into wins?
Commitment to fundamentals, finish. We talk about finish. We look for opportunities to preach finish. And, in different ways, as we look at a season, you try to break the season up into quarters as well, so that we have something to kind of sink our teeth into and wrap our mind around as much as we have. This is a one-game approach right here. We look for finish opportunities. Every Friday, Focus Friday, is a finish opportunity to wrap up the game plan. Then we have that walkthrough on Saturday. So I just keep trying to look for a finish line, to have a habit of bursting through the finish, doing whatever it takes for as long as it takes. And I believe that that's what shows up for us late in games, is our guys are used to having finish opportunities where you have to refocus at the right time. And then we also talk about do right longer. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to do anything different. And if you want to be a great team, it's fundamental execution all the way through the game, regardless if it's the first play of the game or the last play of the game on a fourth down. We're just asking for that focus and that basic execution.
I wanted to ask, what's unique about the way Joe Gilbert's kept this line together and through all the injuries and everything that's allowed them to perform the way?
Yeah, it's a really, the tag team is really Joe and Goody. And to have two experienced coaches like these guys, and who've got a ton of experience with the different sets of lines, different types of run game, different types and styles of quarterbacks to connect with and communicate. But I think at the center of it is a great process. And I've said this a bunch of times, but I'll say it again. They're always working. Whenever you come out to practice, whatever period it is during the practice, whether it's kickoff return, you're going to see the offensive line working on stunts, working on pressures. You'll see Chuba and Rico down there talking with the group. It could be another special teams period. They're working on stunts and different front variations for the run game. If you're looking in the building, they're taking care of all these little windows by having the group talk together, wrapping the day up at the end. So it's this constant communication and this work ethic that they just bring where they want to be covered. They want to go through all the what ifs and make sure our guys feel really prepared so they can play fast. And, just from a fundamental standpoint, it's all the drill work and the details that go into it. So I'm really blessed to have those guys having my back on this staff. Thank you very much, Coach. Yeah. All right, thank you.